Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. As promised, I am here with my spoiler-free review of The Eternals. Just got home from seeing it, and I don't want to call it a masterpiece, but it is definitely not the disaster that the reviewers and the critics are calling it. I will say that the first, I think I timed an hour and 15 minutes. I only took out my phone a couple times. I was the only one in the theater. Actually, it was really cool. The first hour and 15 minutes were pretty laborious. It was all over the place. A lot of the criticisms I had for the DC movies where they just jump everywhere. That's kind of what they were doing in this one. I get it. You gotta tell the story of 9, 10 people, their backstory. You gotta set it all up. I totally get that. I really like the story in this film as a whole. I just don't like the way that it was set up or told. And I think that what they set out to do was pretty big, to be honest. Chloe is a great director. I just think that she took on a lot with this, and it would have been tough for any director to really piece together all these stories in a cohesive manner to give respect to each character. But that being said, after that hour and 15 minutes, the second act was really great story wise. A lot of emotional moments. It was the relationship building was very strong, and there was really a lot going on in this film, but it didn't feel like there's one great villain in a lot of ways. There's a few moving pieces, and I don't want to spoil anything beyond that. I just that part, it was definitely a downfall for the film, but they were setting up a lot. There's a lot of world building for what's to come. Gemma Chan as Cersei was perfect casting. She nailed that part. I've never really said this many times before, but Angelina Jolie, I really enjoyed in that role. I'm not a big Jolie fan, so this was really cool to see her kind of take on this action role. I mean, we've seen it before, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that kind of stuff, but she really just embraced Athena, and it was great. And she hasn't had a lot of comedic chops, but in this film, she does have some. Don Lee is Gilgamesh. Oh my God, what a revelation! I just can't say enough about the character and the actor. Brian Tyree Henry, his Fastos was so great and such a tender character. He didn't have a ton of the scenes, but none of the characters really did besides Cersei. So it was spread out a lot, and we got to see different factors of each individual's life. Kamal Nanjiani, I've been a fan of his for many years, and he got jacked for this role, but his comedy was spot on. But the film and his scenes didn't rely on the comedy. I really enjoyed that, where we've seen many films where they rely on the comedic chops of somebody as opposed to letting them act and having the comedy. And that's what happened in this film. The CGI was beautiful. The cinematography was just spot on. You felt like you were there. It really built these worlds and these moments, and I really kudos to them for that. I see where the critics are saying that it's a mess because I don't think they really watched much beyond that first hour and 15 minutes. Because when I was watching that, I was like, I kind of get it. I kind of agree this is a disaster. But they really do pull it all together nicely in that second act. And then in the last 45 minutes of the movie, I couldn't look away. I really couldn't. That was 45 great minutes that we've had in the MCU, and some of the best closeout scenes that I've seen in the MCU. And I'm pretty critical of a lot of these movies where I go in wanting to enjoy them, and there's so much I pick apart. I just the chemistry of these characters was absolutely great. Just like Shang-Chi, this one they continue to pair people together that just spark when they're together, when they're in the scenes together. I love the background characters. They play it very well. There's a lot of twists and turns, ups and downs, unexpected moments that happen that really keep you engaged. So even if you're kind of checked out after that beginning phase of the movie, there's a lot of things that pull you right back in and keep you engaged. I love the new direction that they're taking. I watched a couple of the older MCU movies this week, and I watched this one, and just the CGI has come so far in this amount of time, and it's just really beautiful. I'm not gonna say I was blown away by this movie, but visually, I think it's the best we've seen from the MCU. And the two end credit scenes were, though people said they were spoiled because of casting or whatever announcements they made, I was really blown away by them. They captivated me. They made me excited. I'm normally not big on these end credit scenes and mid credit scenes, but the first of two, there are two as usual, was really awesome and got me really excited about what's to come. So Hats off to that. As a whole, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's not something where I'm like, well, I can't wait to watch that again, but it's something where I wouldn't dread watching it again, like I plan to watch with some friends on Disney Plus when it comes out. Glad I saw it. It was a really empty theater, and I was able to take it all in. You know, I read all the reviews all week, and I saw how it's getting slammed, and I saw a lot of homophobic comments about it. I saw a lot of people slamming it because they called it woke, but clearly they haven't read a comic book, don't know what comic book stands for, don't even know what superheroes stand for. So, in terms of those reviews, throw them out the window. Watch it for the movie it is. It's 2021. Just go and enjoy it. And I don't agree with the critics on much of what they said, and there's nothing thrown in your face that needs to make you uncomfortable or anything like that. It's a movie, it's humans interacting with each other, and there's a lot of moments to love, and there's a lot of tenderness in this film. So, watch it as a human, watch it as a comic book fan, watch it as a movie fan. I recommend it to everybody. No, it wasn't perfect, but it's not this 4 or 5 that it's being rated as. So, check it out, show it some love, prove the 103 Rotten Tomatoes reviews that we're going off of wrong, because they are wrong. You heard it from me. I didn't spoil anything as much as I'd like to. I look forward to having this dialogue down the road when everybody has seen it. Until next time, much love and enjoy the theater.